Hello everyone. Konnichiwa. Mike's on us. This is Mike from Play More Games, and today I am very excited to be doing an unboxing for Race for Bastogne, the most recent release in the GTS series. This is the first title since Operation Mercury, which I think was published 5 years ago. So been dying for some more GTS content. That's not to say that I've explored all there is to explore, because they're very big games, and I would say with the exception of Operation Mercury, I really haven't done any of them any sort of justice, and that is with dozens of hours of play. So GTS in particular is exciting for me because this was the second game I think I ever did for this channel. Anyway, I did a lot of videos for Operation Mercury, including a full playthrough of the Grand Campaign. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. Now, I do want to apologize because this is probably not the unboxing that this game deserves, since eagle-eyed viewers will notice that this is carpet. I'm actually unboxing this on the floor, so as Fallout from my table smashing incident, I only have the one fold-out table, and right now I have a copy of the U.S. Civil War, which I've been enjoying a lot. And I don't know if this, well, hopefully this makes sense to you. Actually, I heard Joel Toppin talk about this in a video in the Third World War yesterday, which is that, you know, you have a game that you love and you enjoy, and you want to keep exploring, but then you get 2 or 3 more titles in the mail right behind it. So I didn't want to tear down the U.S. Civil War, because I think it's only 1862, and I want to at least finish this one playthrough before I start like a Vassal playthrough, because I think to the degree that which anyone can, if you can play it physically, you definitely deserve to. So, yeah. But I am excited because I will be getting this to the table and pumping out some videos for this, because you can fit the Grand Campaign on a table, on my table, because the maps are oriented east to west. That's lengthwise and not sidewise. Alright, so let's take a look. I've already torn the shrink off because I was excited, and there was a... well, first of all, let me just say that there was a problem with my credit card. I placed my pre-order on the old Multiman site and needed to update the expiration on my card. So I called on Monday afternoon, and I got the game today, Thursday morning. So excellent customer service as always from MMP. They're part of the what I call the big 3 of game publishers. So we have 4 10-sided dice, 2 white and a blue and a green. So usually what I end up doing when I play this game is you roll 2 dice at the same time, give each player a colored dice and a white die, and say that the white is for the company bonus and the colored die is the result. That tends to speed things up. The game itself came very well packaged with multiple layers of bubble wrap. There was a bubble insert here as well. So first up we have the exclusive rules, which I flipped through these, and there's not a lot of exclusive rules. So if this is your first trip to the GTS series, and hopefully it's not, but if it is, this is probably as good a place as any to get started, because it uses the 2.0, or excuse me, I think it's 2.1 at this point, rule set, which is the cleanest version of the rules to date, and there's only about there's 16 pages of game-specific rules, but most of them you just kind of look up as you use. Let's see, ferries are back. One thing I did notice is that there are some special American rear guards. And I think rear guards is an underutilized aspect of the GTS series, and using rear guards well really helps make a difference. But they have like special AT versions, which the Germans don't have. And over here you have the scenarios. You have two training scenarios, Wilt's Waltz and No No Noville. So those are probably good places to get started. And then you have a couple of like 1 day or 2 day scenarios, and then you have the whole kit and caboodle. While it might be tempting to dive right into that, what I found when I played through Operation Mercury is that by playing each of the scenarios in order, I had kind of an idea, because the campaign itself is 10 days, and I have to look, and I think it's 2-hour turns, so maybe that's 80 turns, possibly. But being able to kind of have those benchmarks, you know, so you look at the scenario for December 19th and you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of what it should look like. Am I ahead? Am I behind? What's going on? You know? So credits, I should read the credits. Let's see. Designer, Joseph Chacon. Developer, Nick Richardson. Graphic artist, Nico Scooby. Rules, proofreaders, Dick Fullers and John Clifford. Vassal module development, Claudio Ciardelli. Many playtesters. Okay, so let's look at the counter sheets. We have Americans here, and I see some Eagles, and yeah, actually this looks like Eagles, and you can see that they have relatively high troop quality levels of 6, the parachute regiments here, and they kind of get holed up in Bastogne, if I remember the fight correctly. You have a couple of divisional level units, some light tanks. Let's see. Okay. Have some red ball express markers. I wonder how those fit in. That'll be pretty cool. So this is the Wilt submap. This is, you play the first scenario on this, and there is an option to add this to the campaign game. Basically the way that works, my understanding, is that it's basically a sideshow. Like the German units can't move north of the Wilts River, and the Americans can't move off it. I think it's just something else to do. Which I guess is fun. I mean, it's interesting. I don't think you can release those troops from this map, though. So, but they are there. Terrain effects chart. Sunken roads and raised roads are back. That really made navigating through Arnhem and Nijmegen very difficult, those raised roads. If they work similarly, it creates a lot of traffic congestion. You can see it gives some pretty nice fire modifiers. And I would imagine that you can't move through them if you're in column. So you kind of get like a row of ducks. And I think that you can only move off them at certain ingress and egress points, which creates chokes. So definitely difficult terrain to navigate, and you have to be very careful. So here's our second counter sheet. We have some more Americans, and this is CCR, Combat Command, and we also have some of our Germans. So there's some artillery park markers. You see, you have lots of tanks here, air support markers. In comparison, most of these are 5s, whereas the Americans were 6s, at least in the airborne. Okay. You have the charts and tables, which this appears to be unchanged. I won't bore you by reading it. This is a second scenario map, which I think that's No No Noville, maybe. So again, you know, your first 2 scenarios can be played on these little 11 by 17 maps. So if you are new to the series, that'll make a great place to start. Let's see. We have more Nazis. And let's see. Yeah, lots of good tanks. Lots of good tanks. Okay. Alright, so it is literally version 2.0. I'm not sure where I came up with 2.1. Maybe I read that somewhere. But I've played so much of this that I could probably just get started without having to go through it. That being said, I still refer to it constantly because I second guess myself. If you've watched any of my playthrough videos, you know that about me. Okay, we have more counters. More counters, and I have German paratroopers, Fallschirmjägers. We have more Germans. More Germans. These look like artillery units. Well, they are artillery units. They don't look like ferry marker. Yeah, so we've found a lot of German units so far. Okay, so here we have our first nice map chunk, and let's see. Yeah. Let's keep going, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Alright, status markers, so barrage markers, improved position markers. Here we're getting into our divisional displays. And I'll go over the first one here, so just in case you haven't seen before. Here you track command points and dispatch points, and those are kind of like your currencies that you use to do actions. And that's an oversimplification of what it is, but you track them here. You track them for each division, and different divisions have different rates, which reflect their relative quality, supplies, etc., etc. Troop quality changes, so depending on the situation, this may rise or fall based on game-specific rules. Artillery parks, so one of those counter sheets had artillery park markers, so you put everything that's in that park, which is basically just imagine a group of artillery units firing together off board here. Okay, so that's the 2nd Panzer Division, the 26th Volksgrenadier Division. So all of these should look very, very similar. Panzer Layer, and then we have the 101st, and here we have elements of the 8th Corps and 28th Infantry Division. I think since it was kind of like a hodgepodge of things, I think they grouped them together to activate them the same. Here we have an off-map display. So this looks more like something for the Allies than for the Germans, but pretty cool. Operation Mercury made a pretty extensive use of an off-map track. But since this is a relatively small snapshot of a huge battle, it makes sense to have things like this. I'm sorry for the sniffles. I just realized that I've probably been doing that quite a bit. Turn track. So there are actually only 6 turns per day, which makes sense. Because it was, December. So 60 turns. You have your weather chart here. Well, actually, that's the historical weather. We have more markers here. These are the American cohesion hit markers and improved position markers. We have a second copy of the train effects chart. We have the German cohesion hit and suppression markers. And then we have our second map. Which is just as beautiful as the first. Yeah. I really enjoy the GTS, the counter art and the map art. It's really beautiful. It's clear. It's easy to read. It's nice to look at. the information is presented clearly and concisely. I really have no complaints. It's definitely one of the better ones out there. And then lastly, more cohesion hits and column markers. Basically, column is like rapid movement. We have a rule summary, which is helpful. Don't get scared. These are easy enough once you learn to use them. And like I said, don't get scared. It's easy enough once you figure it out. And but having these charts is nice. It is really nice to have those charts. Okay. So then we have second copy of the charts and tables. That's the bottom of the box. Let's take a look at the back here. Okay. So a couple of snapshots of the map here. Yeah. So GTS is one of my favorite series. I'm very happy to have more GTS content to bring to you guys. I would say look for this in the coming week or two. I have such a backlog of things that I want to do. I have to make more time to be able to do it. That's really my mental hang-up more than anything else. Spread myself pretty thin doing a bunch of different stuff. But this one I am very excited about. The future of the GTS series. I know that they have a magazine game based on, like, I think it's pronounced SAR, which was I think it's one of Patton's maneuvers into Germany. So like a magazine scale game. I read that Utah, which is very exciting, Utah should be going on sale, or excuse me, pre-order later this year, which I imagine will meet its pre-order number very quickly. And then I know, obviously, Omaha, of course. Beyond that, I don't know. I was actually looking at the back of one of the boxes. I think it's the back of the box of Highway to... What is it? What is it called? Highway to Hell? No. There's the Devil's Cauldron and the other Market Garden game. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name. Where Eagles Dare. I don't know why I wanted to call it Highway to Hell. I think there's a Market Garden game called Highway to Hell that I'm thinking of. Anyway, I was looking on the back of that, and there was actually a Kursk game advertised on that, so I don't know if that's still happening or not. But very excited to get into this. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think, and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one. Alright. As for me, this is Mike. Thank you, and have a nice day.